Welcome to the basics video where I go over the basics of the phone that the average person will care about. This video is for the OnePlus 6T. Feel free to check out my specs video for a more detailed explanation of this phone. The OnePlus 6T has a standard 16 megapixel camera along with a 20 megapixel data camera on the back, and on the front there is a 16 megapixel sensor. As expected by a late 2018 phone, the camera is outstanding. When I got this phone, I could tell that the image processing was not the same as like an iPhone or Samsung Galaxy S9, but with that said, it is still really nice. With software updates, the images look bright and colorful. You can see some of the images were dark at times, but overall that wasn't an issue. Remember, I point and shoot when I make these reviews, and some photos like this were taken while driving. With that said, here's a shot that was taken while driving at night. Night shots are generally really interesting because they come out looking pretty nice. When using Nightscape in the camera app, shots came out looking a little bit blurry and overall saturated even with the software updates. Now remember, these are all 16 megapixel shots because the 20 megapixel camera is only used for capturing data for things like portrait mode. Speaking of, it's not that terrible, but it's not on the same level as like Pixel devices. Still, I'll let you be the judge. Video recording looks nice as well. Most of this video I recorded was in 1080p 60 frames per second, but 4K 60 frames per second looks amazing as well. Like the OnePlus 6, optical image stabilization is in this phone, which is always a plus. The front camera is nice, but like I said in the specs video, lack of a focusable front camera is tough for me now. With that said, the portrait mode works just fine, even though there are a bunch of beauty things that make this app kind of strange. With this said, focusable cameras are still very uncommon, even the iPhones don't even have them. Overall, I will give the cameras an 8 out of 10. The software for this phone is Oxygen OS, which is OnePlus's skin based on Android 9.0 Pie. This is nice because there are very few phones that have Android Pie, so seeing OnePlus stay somewhat up to date is a nice look. Like I said in the specs video, this OS is pretty amazing. There is a ton of customization built into this phone's stock, making things like rooting almost pointless. Also, since owning this phone, I've received about 6 updates, which include bug fixes, security patches, and some added features. Even though these updates are nice, the phone doesn't really need it. It's pretty stable, and rarely do I ever see any lag or drops in performance. Of course, there's always room for improvement, and it looks like OnePlus will follow through when needed. While there are some issues with it, I love the gesture system in this phone. There is no bar on the bottom or anything to show the gestures, just pure gestures, unlike the Samsung S9 or iPhones with Face ID. The issue I ran into is small, which is the lack of Google Assistant Quick Launch with this setup, but you can set up the power button to do that if you really needed it. Double tap to wake is cool, and so is single tap to wake, which this phone has both. Still, I prefer double tap to wake on Android phones and single tap on the iPhone. The alert slider is technically hardware, but there's a decent amount of customization that you can do with this slider, like making silence every noise or just alerts. I know other phones do these updates, but I was surprised that OnePlus pointed out what you were actually updating, with one update talking about upgrading the image processing of the cameras. This is not stock, but I believe it's one of the best alternatives, so the software for this phone will get a 9 out of 10. The battery is amazing, as it should be. Like I said in my last video, the battery may last 2 days, but it won't be the best experience. Getting through the day with this battery is very easy, even with heavy usage. After 13 hours of usage, my phone was left with 41%, and 2 hours and 50 minutes of that was screen on time. Another day I got 16 hours of usage with 51% remaining, and 2 hours and 39 minutes of that was screen on time. Another day I got 14 hours of usage out of this battery with 39%, and 4 hours and 55 minutes of that was screen on time. All of these figures are with the brightness all the way up. I read some reports that the battery life on this phone dropped for some people, but those reports talked about getting 4 hours of screen on time, which is not that bad. This 3700 mAh battery is pretty large, but not as big as some phones like the Note 9. Still, battery life is not even close to being an issue on this phone. Even when I tried, I was never able to kill this battery in one day. OnePlus did the right thing by putting a larger battery into this phone. Overall, the battery category receives an 8.75 out of 10. So of course, we will compare the OnePlus 6T to the OnePlus 6. There are a few but important changes in this phone. The size of the phone is a little odd. The 6T is taller, thinner in width, and thicker overall. The 6T is also 8 grams heavier, but that's not that much. The screen is still an optic AMOLED screen, but moves from a big notched 6.28-inch screen to a teardrop notched 6.41-inch panel. The screen ratio did slightly change from the 19:9 ratio on the OnePlus 6 to the 19.5:9 ratio on the OnePlus 6T, along with moving from Gorilla Glass 5 to Gorilla Glass 6. Pretty much everything in the notch area is packed into that one little drop, which looks nice to me. There are two things that were removed. The headset jack was removed, which is kind of weird, along with the fingerprint scanner. Well, it was actually moved from the back of the phone to the front of the phone and put under the screen. They did also remove the LED for notifications, which is strange. The cameras are the exact same, but OnePlus did make night shots better on the 6T. The battery has increased from a 3,300 mAh cell to a 3,700 mAh cell, which is a nice upgrade. The processor, GPU, and RAM all stay the same, except for the McLaren version, which has 10 GB of RAM. Lastly, there are minor additions, like a better LTE antenna. Overall, I would say that this is a small but nice half-year upgrade, so it gets a 7.5 out of 10. Now this phone has been out for half a year and there's already a decent amount of parts for this phone. Gorilla Glass is used mainly for scratching, so the screen can still break. When it does, it'll cost you about $160 to do it yourself, or $225 for a third party to do it for you. The camera lens seems difficult to break and will cost about $3 or $35 for a third party to fix it for you. The back will probably break at some point as well and will cost you about $30 to do it yourself or $75 to $85 for a third party to do it for you. The charging port can be replaced for $5 and luckily doesn't require any soldering. A third party will charge maybe $65 to $85. The battery would need to be replaced at some point, but I can't find any of these batteries to replace it with. Not even for the OnePlus 6. OnePlus should be able to change all these parts for you, so check with them before you break stuff on this phone. Given the prices and repairability, I would say that the OnePlus 6T gets a 7.5 out of 10 for durability and repair cost. Now, should you buy this phone? With a score of 81.5%, I would say that this is an amazing choice, but there are some downsides. The screen is a 1080p panel, but it still looks nice. The phone lacks wireless charging and a headset jack, but you'll learn to live without those. The next OnePlus device is coming out soon, or is out by now, because I took forever to make this video, but the 6T is still an amazing device, especially when it starts at $550 US. I wish there were stereo speakers on this phone as well, but the bottom speaker is still pretty loud and pretty clear. This is clearly the best phone for people that have a budget under $700. I hope you learned something from these videos, but now I want to learn something from you. Do you think OnePlus should move up to the 1440p screen? Let me know in the comment section or on Twitter at MattofRWR. And feel free to follow me on the social media listed above. Also subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos like this, as well as some repair videos. And if you really like these videos, hit that bell button. Thanks for watching.